Hello there, I am Man in Yellow, and in this video we are going to quickly go over the new Christmas update that we just got for Phobies. They haven't made like a official thread or whatever on their forums for this. I don't know if they will, but we did get the patch notes through the Discord anyway, so I have that on my second monitor and we're just going to go through everything that's happening one step at a time. First off, account name changes are now available in exchange for coffee, so you can change your in-game name. I could make myself be named Man in Magenta or something else if I wanted to. I'm not going to because I like being Man in Yellow, but it's a nice option to have for some players in case they like misspelled their name, or if your like first name was just like you mashing the keyboard when you got into Phobies because you couldn't come up with something else, then you can change it to something that you prefer instead of that now. It is, however, extremely expensive. It costs 800 coffee, so that is a full horrific pack that you're spending just to change your name, which doesn't actually do anything for you in the game. So it's a pretty high cost, but some players may still choose to do that. It's fine. It's like a good thing to have in the game. I just don't think it really had to cost 800 coffee. Some games let you do this for free or for a lot less. Still a good thing to have though. Then we have a Christmas event for which they say, a festive new event arrives this month, completed to earn a special present at the end. I think this is most likely referring to the like thing that Vendy gives us gifts. Usually during December we have like a Christmas themed lobby where Vendy is dressed up and it gives us gifts every day. So that's probably what it's referring to. Maybe it's something different. We'll just have to wait and see. It's definitely not in the game yet, though. I don't think they're referring to the normal event we have up here, because usually we have like a Christmas event. That is something we've had every year, I believe. So I would imagine that is what they're talking about here. Then we have a system update to the events that we have in here, which are like the fighting events. Players who complete an event early can now restart it and progress through the event a second time. So you get to do every event twice now. I don't know exactly how this will work. I don't know if it will cost coffee or real life money or if it will be free. I also don't know if you get to do the VIP pass twice because of that, or like how that works. Either way though, it is a nice change to have just because it just gives players more stuff to do, which is nice. So just a good change, I would say. I don't know why they don't just make the events longer instead. Maybe they don't want them to be too long, or maybe this is just like something that they chose to do. No matter what though, it's a nice change. Then we have two new portraits which are in the Jacks. They are already in the game. We have a Dowser one where it's like dressed up as a reindeer, and we have a Stairmaster one where it's like in white and blue and he is wearing a Christmas hat. I think this would have looked better if it was in like normal colors, like Stairmaster colors and with a red Christmas hat, but they're still both good portraits. We've had this every year. You can see I have the Electric Hat Christmas portrait equipped already. There's also one for Hevo plate and one for Werewolf where it has a Christmas cane. I can't remember if there are other ones also, but this is something we have both for Christmas and I believe also Halloween usually. So this is just like a normal thing, but they're always nice to have. Just like seasonal portraits are pretty nice. Then we are getting 3 new maps, 2 small maps and 1 large map. Plus we are getting a rework of Evermore pits. They have added one of the new maps into the game already. I think they usually add one at a time every like rotation, so we get them like over a couple of weeks. The one that we already have in the game is called Goosey Goosey Gander. This looks like a pretty decent map, I would say. This is not like at Red Rum level or anything, which is like, in my opinion, probably the best map they have ever made. It's at least somewhere up there, but this is still a very good map. You have a healing spa in the middle that you actually have to fight over if you want to use it. You have all of these panic points which are somewhat contestable. The panic points behind the heart are actually like relevant here, because you can do an aggressive thing where you like place a ranged Phobie, say like a Ginseng or something on this, and then you have a like melee Phobie block for it in front, like a Huffy, and you can play very aggressive towards the opponent's heart later in the game that way. Like you could have it sit up here and hit the heart, then the opponent rotates in and they try and fight you and you run behind the heart to be very annoying. So they are actually somewhat relevant. Of course the main thing is the middle part though. And you also have the hearts being actually attackable because they are like open, or whatever you want to say. Like, you have free space to go and attack the enemy's heart. They can of course defend it. You just place like a stabby or any turret right here, and it's very easy to defend your heart. You can hit both of these tiles from there, so it's not like impossible to defend either or anything like that. This just seems like a pretty good map. It's a huge step up from HR Violation, I would say, but it would also be very difficult to make something worse than HR Violation, so that doesn't really necessarily say that much. But this is a good map. I hope that the other one small map and the large map that we are getting will be of the like same quality or higher, because this so far looks very nice. Next up we have the Evermore pits, which got reworked. This is actually a rework that I suggested, that we got exactly the rework that I suggested from, so I am very happy to see this. I think this will make the map a lot better. You can actually see here in the Discord, I suggested this exact change for the map, where I opened up the middle and added a couple extra panic points to fight over. With this, we can like take the middle with 1 keys, and you have these panic points here and here, which are contestable for both players, which is very good. This brings a lot more like to fight over on the map. It means that you can rotate between the sides on the map. Like, you could have a Ginsting sit here, and then next turn it can run all the way up here to be somewhere on the like one of these 3 tiles, or I guess maybe even here if you want to. And like, that gives you a very different experience on this map, where instead of not being able to actually play aggressive, now you can actually take a lot of points and try to attack the opponent's heart, and you can rotate between the sides, and I think it will be a lot better now. I'm not saying this is necessarily perfect. I'm not like perfect at map design either, but this will be a huge improvement to the map in my opinion. And you can still play for like displacement or for breaking the blocks if you want to. Now you just have a lot more different things you can play for on it, which I'm very excited to actually try out and test. I think the main thing that changes this map a lot is that you have these 2 panic points, which are now contestable by both players, and you can rotate in the middle here. That is like a very big change. I think the most likely thing we will see is like players split the map up. So the blue player will take control of this part of the map, and the red player will take control of this part of the map. And then you will try to like push onto the opponent's side later in the game. And one player will be the aggressor, whereas the other will be the defender a lot of the time. And I think that will be very nice as a map design here. I am very happy to see that they are doing this, because seeing a rework for the map, and also that they have removed some of the bad maps, I think they have officially removed HR Violation from the game, and it will not be in like back in rotation or anything like that. Both of those things are very nice, because that means that they are listening, and it also means that we will likely get some more reworks in the future. As a matter of fact, I'm certain that we will, because they even have like some stuff where we talk about it on the Discord, and you can like submit what maps you would want changed, and also stuff for balance changes. We will not be getting any balance changes for this update, but we will be getting some early next year, as far as I've understood. So that is also something nice that we are waiting for. And you can even like talk about that on the Discord also. There's like somewhere where you can submit changes that you want to have happen. So that is very nice. But yeah, this is just like, obviously I'm biased because I'm the one who actually like had the idea for this change. But I think this is a very nice change for the map. Being able to take the middle with 1 keys is also very nice. Next up, we have 2 new Phobies coming to the game. One of them is in the VIP pass for the event. They usually do this, where we have a like side grade, not a side grade, but like a recolor is the name of it, for Hafi, which is actually totally different. It's not a side grade at all. It is Twitchy, which is a 4-key melee trapper that places down electrical traps that will deal a lot of damage to mechanical phobies, but not a whole lot of damage to other ones. It is actually not a bad phobie. It is kind of niche, because the main thing that you want to use this against is of course like players who are playing heavy mechanical teams. But I still think this looks pretty good. It actually has very nice stats, so you could use it even without them having a super large amount of mechanicals. Like maybe it's enough that they have like a Bomangles and a Nuculus on the board. that could be enough for you to actually justify bringing Twitchy. We'll have to see. I imagine this will be like a somewhat niche pick, but it will be decently good. The main thing about it is that it has such good stats, which makes it playable. If we compare it to some other 4 keys, like for example, like Prometheus, it actually has the same stats as Prometheus while having the trap instead of the lava tile thing. If you compare it to Grimes, it has 200 more health. So it is actually quite well statted, which is the main thing that I think will make this playable. I don't think this will be something that you spam though. It doesn't look insane or anything. It just looks like it will be a decent little Phobie that you can use if you want to. Now the last Phobie I can actually show in the game here, because it is in one of these offers that you can buy. I couldn't show Twitchy in the game because it is in the actual, like, what's it called, VIP event, obviously. And nobody has completed that yet. But this one we can show. It is Chonkeys. It is an ultra rare. Has 2100 health, 2 movement, 1 range, and 500 attack for 6 keys. Its ability is Blizzard and it obscures range. The description says obscures range, reducing effective range to 1 for 2 turns, extinguishing burning tiles. Now, if you just like read this and you haven't seen it in the game, this is actually not very good at describing what the ability actually does. When everyone first saw this in the Discord, we assumed that what this meant was that while you are inside of this blizzard's range, or like the area where you use the blizzard, the Phobies inside will only have 1 range, and that is just like everything that it does. So it would be like something that you use to disable enemy ranged Phobies. However, that is not how this works at all. Blizzard is way more powerful than that. The way this actually works is that all Phobies inside the Blizzard can only be targeted and damaged by Phobies that are next to them, so in melee range of them. Any ranged attack cannot hit them, and AoE also cannot hit them. AoE attacks, I should say. You can't hit it with like effects such as Brony or Akira, but you cannot attack them. And that is absolutely insane, because that is essentially like a team-wide shield that you can place on your own team. You can also use it to disable enemy ranged Phobies if you want to, but most of the time you're probably just going to use it to make your own team pretty much immune to damage, which is absolutely crazy. To just like show you a couple videos of how this actually works, because PvC Phobie placed a couple videos in here in the Discord where you can actually see this. I should wait with actually starting the video. You can see here they are attacking with Akira on a Rusty, and we have the ability happening up here. This like area with the white smoke stuff or whatever it is the Blizzard. And while the Phobies are in here, they cannot take damage from the Akira. You can see they do the AoE attack on the Rusty, but the Fire Ant takes no damage from that. They just do it one more time here. You can see it just doesn't take damage. You have to sit literally next to the Phobie to actually attack them and deal damage. You also cannot even target them when you are outside of the Blizzard, unless you are standing right next to the Phobie. So here you can see they're trying to attack the Fire Ant with their Hevo 2.0, but they cannot even target it. What this means is you cannot use something like Attractor or Miss Moffat or pushers such as Hevo 2.0 or Repeller to move your opponents out of the Blizzard. They are just like stuck in there, or they can just stand in there and you can't really do anything about it. The only thing you can really do to like remove them from it is to Akira them, and you can also try and like do stuff such as Brony maybe, but outside of that you pretty much just cannot do anything about them, which is incredibly powerful. This is just a very, very insane ability in my opinion. To like give a better idea of how this would work in an actual game, I can just like show it on the map maker here. Here we have Red Rum. So if we imagine that I have a Stabby and a Bomangles out here, maybe I'm sitting here with the Stabby. Actually, let me just change that to yellow. That is not very visible. If I have like a Stabby sit here and a Bomangle sit here, and my Chonky is sitting somewhere behind them or maybe on the side, let's just say it's right here or something like that. On my turn, I could walk forward to this tile and hit my opponent a bunch, and then I could place the like Blizzard thing over my Phobies. So my Stabby and Bomangles would maybe be sitting like this. And then I could place the Blizzard on top of my own Phobies in this area. and they would not be able to hit the Stabby and Bomangles unless they sit on these tiles right around here. Outside of that, there is no way for them to actually interact with my Phobies at all. Also, if we go even more crazy and we say that I place my Phobies right here, and then I use the Blizzard in this area instead, then they can only hit me from exactly this tile, and this Phobie cannot be hit at all unless they get behind me somehow. But that means that you are essentially just creating an area where your Phobies have like a 100% damage reduction, on top of not being targetable by CC abilities or any form of crowd control, unless the enemy is in melee range of you. But if the opponent walks up into melee range, let's just say again that you have like a Cloud sitting here and a couple Phobies sitting here, then they have to first walk up to you and they have to then hit you. And then on the following turn you can hit them twice. So you are getting defender's advantage after you are tagged by using this ability. The ability also wears off at the end of the opponent's turn, so if you have ranged Phobies out, you will get first hit advantage, kind of the same way that you do with Brony, which is really, really good for you. And it just like, you can even kite back if you really want to. Like if you're scared of the opponent after they go all in, again if they move forward with a couple meaty Phobies into you, then you can still just hit them once and move back, and it's kind of the same idea as kiting with a ranged Phobie. So this is like very, very, very powerful. Also, if we just look at the ability, you will see it only has 2 turns of cooldown, and it has 0 lock, which is actually a very big deal. It having 2 cooldown means that you can kind of spam it, but it being 0 lock is really the super big deal, because that means you can immediately summon it and then use the Snowstorm or Blizzard or whatever you want to call it to protect your own team. So as another example here, let's say again I have a couple turrets. It could be just be Stabby and Bomangles again sitting here. My opponent walks up here and hits me. So maybe they have like a Ginsting sit here and their own Bomangles here, and they hit me for a little bit of damage. I can summon my Chonky on my side of the board, put it here, place the ability right in front of it because it has 1 tile range, so I place the ability here, and that will create the area around it here, protecting my 2 Phobies from the opponent. So I can like hit them first for 4 attacks and then make my Phobies essentially immune to damage unless the opponent moves into melee range of me. And if they want to try and move into melee range, there's only 1 tile where they can actually do it here. And if they move in here, they move forward and they get 1 hit, and then I can hit them 4 times with my Phobies. So this is just insanely powerful. It is honestly a little bit too strong in my opinion. I would say that currently, like, I haven't seen it in the game or experienced how this actually plays out. So this is just from like a theory standpoint and my initial impressions. But I would say that this is probably the 2nd strongest Phobie in the game. It is maybe slightly below Cupcake, or maybe it's even on par with Cupcake. That is just like my initial guess though. Maybe it's slightly worse, maybe it's slightly better than that. But it seems incredibly powerful. So this Phobie is going to be really, really, really strong, I think. Seems insane, to be honest. Like, I don't know how you're going to deal with that outside of like trying to either Brony or a Kira it, but then you are summoning some very large Phobies into a 6 key that can immediately use its ability, and it can even use the ability from the vault, which is pretty nasty. So that seems very, very powerful, but we will have to see how it plays out. I should also mention you can even use this to like protect your Phobies from a Vault Sniper. Like, they can't hit you with Hevo Plate or Snowball or anything like that if you're just snowstorming your own team. Anyway though, that was all for this video. That was pretty much everything that will be for this update. We will be getting some more stuff in the like early parts of next year, I'm pretty sure. So I'm also excited for that. But if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, feel free to leave a comment. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.